Mr. Marczewski, we're now at the investment conference. Ukraine has been trying to attract the investments for many years now, especially after the Euromaidan revolution. How do you see the investment climate in Ukraine for investors from your standpoint as representative of Thomson Reuters?
Listen, I guess let me first reflect a little bit on the event that we've had here today. Very well attended by people who represent foreign capital, mainly American capital, and they are clearly looking for attractive opportunities. I think our focus here is perhaps a little bit too much domestic. The way I look at the investment opportunities, you need to look at it in a global scope, and it's interesting. It's very difficult to find good investment targets anywhere in the world. So on a relative basis, I think Ukraine is showing its attractiveness, and it clearly is attracting many interesting capital representatives to come here and explore what are the opportunities to do it. And we started the day by looking at geopolitical situation, the whole complexity, the challenges around corruption. These are important processes where people like ourselves help different corporations beef up their process, deploy software to make sure that they are more prepared to tackle those challenges and be clean, be better, operate in a more with better governance standards. That's a very important foundation, right? But then later in the day, we looked at different sectors, and there's some sectors such as agri, where the feedback from the panelists was universally positive. Everyone believes that the agriculture sector will deliver significant growth. So this is an area where investors would think it's a very safe place to invest. Well, it's safe as long as you protect yourself really well, as long as you have the partners, as long as you have the standards, the governance, the systems that we talked about. And then I guess you asked me about my perspective, so I'll give you a perspective of Thomson Reuters. We're not an investment company. We are the answer company. We help professional communities to get to the trusted answers important to their business dealings. And we certainly invested in Ukraine. In the last couple of years, we've expanded our business team here. We see that there is more for us to do. There is more to do in areas such as governance, risk and compliance to help customers deploy systems to, for example, automate internal audit processes. This is one of the systems that we very successfully sell here. Our World Check database that help customers check who they do business with, who their foreign counterparties, partners are, and make them more prepared and safer in the business dealing to safeguard their investments.
Ukraine right now is struggling with the war in East Ukraine. It's also struggling with reforms that the government is trying to undergo. It's struggling with corruption. Do you think it's the good time for a foreign investor to come into the country right now?
Listen, there's this wonderful saying, you need to come to the sound of cannons, not to the sound of trumpets, right? And I think it's brutal, especially when we have this conversation in Kiev. The context is really dreadful, but the reality of business is during unstable times of recession, of economic difficulties, and different difficulties which clearly are taking place in Ukraine, that's the time when foundations are laid for future growth. So I do believe that this is the right time to come because the trajectory is an improving trajectory. And again, maybe not everywhere geographically, and maybe not everywhere in terms of the different sectors. But if you pick your bets right, clearly the community present in this room that came to represent foreign capital is looking for these sweet spots and wants to double down and wants to invest and wants to be part of the future growth and have a little bit more of a longer term positive perspective on it. So it's a yes, it's an optimism, but it's cautious optimism. It doesn't mean that it's going to grow everywhere and it's safe everywhere and it's easy. But listen, getting crew to have your capital work well is never easy and nowhere easy. And these days, you need to. You need to innovate within it if you're a successful corporation, if you're a successful investor, if you're a successful professional even.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.